Okay. I want to talk about this because I don't know. It's just an old thing I always wanted to kind of talk about. Personally, just think of this as me doing another, even though I haven't done it in a while, a Bugsy editorial. Folks, you got a thing, a video or a topic you want to talk about on YouTube. I ain't talking about the grifters. This has nothing to do with grifters. But if you want to talk about your favorite show or movie, or you feel strongly about something and you want to just talk about it to let it off your chest and really see how other people feel about it, even though there are bigger problems in the world, if it matters to you, then say your piece. You know, because I used to do rants a lot, and that's what kind of labeled me as a villain for a while. Because you know, sometimes before I went completely off the rails back in the day, I usually talked about the shit I cared about. And yes, I was passionate about it. Some people would always tell me to get a life, but it's like, okay, I'm not forcing you to watch these fucking videos, you fucking assholes. How about y'all go watch something else? You know, mostly I find that when people used to tell me get a life, they probably don't have a life to go to themselves, and they see a dude like me, and trust me, I got like, let's just say slurs were thrown my way. I took them on the chin because mostly these motherfuckers are idiots and don't understand what I'm doing. One dude really was like, "There is no Ansakamaru, that's just you." I'm like, "Duh, you think?" I didn't know that. Like, yeah, sometimes it really it can. In the early days, it was really fucking hard. Like, there's one of my ex friends that didn't understand why I did what I did back in the day. But when you really look at how my channel started, and look at how, you know, I kept getting dogged every fucking day just by existing, because X Factor and his boys kept fucking harassing me, and all because I was defending somebody over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Anybody, anybody, and I don't care who you are, would have wanted to fight back at some point. Like, sometimes you can't just be a pacifist. Sometimes you gotta say what you feel, and whether people like it or not, they're gonna have to hear you. And if they don't want to hear you, and they give you some bullshit like, "Oh, I didn't watch that," or "Oh, you did it for your ego," it's like, and I say that because Jared the motherfucking Fox said that. Like, did not listen to me at all. Dumbass. Motherfucker into some creepy ass shit, by the way. Um, but like, to me, I don't do this for ego. I don't do this for clout. I don't do this to get some kudos from people I haven't even met. If I get some praise, okay, I'm happy about that. I'm not like looking for it. But I just be talking about what I want to talk about, whether that be grifters, homestuck stuff. I mean, come on, look at the way my avatar's dressed. Look at him. Look at him. You know, I'll talk about whatever I want because it's my channel. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. You know, and on my website, I get to do what I want, but without restrictions. Get to say what I want without having to worry about fucking YouTube slapping me in the face and going, "No, you can't say it like that. No." You know, it's you have to understand sometimes that, like, if you want to talk about something, and even if everybody says it's stupid, it ain't stupid to you. It matters to you, and that's why you'll talk about it. And you're probably like, "What about the grifters? Aren't they talking about what matters to them?" And I'll tell you this: they're only saying what they think matters to them because rent is due, dudes. Like, I remember stuff with Scoutfly saying like everybody on YouTube is fake. I'm like, to an extent, yeah. But some people like me just talk about what we want to talk about. I mean, like, if you really thought like every YouTuber was exactly how they are when they, when they're in their personas back in the day, yeah, you're living in a fucking fantasy world. James Rolfe ain't actually shitting on games. I mean, all the other shit. I just like the whole stuff is Scoutfly thing just really shows me if you ain't trying to be genuine and you're just trying to muscle your way into a community, it's never gonna work. You have to actually be genuine. You have to actually show who you are. Some people don't want to do that, or some people do show who they really are, and the person that they are is the most fucking horrific person that they could ever be because of all the like fucking drama you may see of them. And I can't really tell you nothing about them. They're fucked up people. But when it comes to people, when it comes to like fucking just people like Scoutfly who want to just be a part of a community and just because they want the fame and the glory and the adulation, but they're not really a part of said fandom, you can kind of tell. The thing about Scoutfly was he can freaking hide it. Talking about all the cartoon stuff, but really being a dude that never liked cartoons, he just did it because he saw that's what everybody was doing. With me, I may have characters, and I may have a little bit of persona when I'm like leaning into my bit here with my avatar. But what you see, what you hear, is me, straight up. I don't try to fake the funk or nothing. I think one of my old taglines is like, I'm the most realest motherfucker on YouTube before that became like kind of a little gag. Because I'll tell you how I'm feeling no matter what, I'll tell you how I feel about a certain topic and I'll talk about it. You'll never hear me talk about politics though. That is the one thing you ain't never gonna hear me do in this channel. Because unlike a lot of the YouTubers that do that shit and like overstep their bounds hardcore, I will never do that. Do I have political beliefs? Yeah. Will you ever hear them? Hell no. Like that's the funny part. Like people look at me like, you have to say it. No, I don't have to say nothing to y'all. I have to say nothing to y'all about that. My prerogative. John Trump and all these other motherfuckers went crazy. And because everybody's talking about politics, I get to. You don't have to. I didn't. I was the one person that was sitting there going, yeah, I'm not saying shit. Have fun with that, dudes. And they can say, oh, but you do all this stuff and you're like you do more fantasy related stuff with your characters. You don't really talk about yourself much. Because I don't need to. I ain't trying to tell you guys everything about my life. I'll tell you some things, but I'm not gonna divulge everything. That's stupid. But I'm not like a dude that's so engrossed in fantasy like a certain guy by the name of Ben who dressed in green. Yeah, y'all remember that Ben video I did? Oh, bro, I'm never gonna be like Ben. I swear to you on my fucking just on my honor, I'm not gonna be like him. Because Ben taught me you shouldn't be just immersing yourself in like a fantasy all the fucking time, like day in, day out, 24/7. You gotta come back and be yourself sometimes. Be yourself like all the time. Not just be a fucking caricature of yourself. That's why all the Bugsies may have pieces of me in them, right? But they're not me. You know, I had to talk about like my mom was overhearing me talk about like the different Bugsy Council members. You know, back when they were still called the Bugsy Council. I had to kind of explain to her like there's like different. I mean like different versions because I go by Bugsy in my day to day. Only people who know me call me by my actual name, call me by my full name. You know what's funny? My girlfriend's parents don't know my actual name. Just call me Bugsy. It's funny. It's actually kind of funny. But yeah, um, but yeah, unlike that. That aside, and the fact that I bust a gut every time, like just all the fucking time. Anyways, like you know, but like yeah, so I had to explain that. I once made a rule 30. My mom does not know anything about rule 34. So I made a rule 34 joke, and my mom used an Alexa, and look, thank God the Alexa did not hear uh, what rule 34 was. And my mom just said it. And I was like, oh no. But, you know, the Alexa didn't really say the definition. And I was like, thank God. She does not need to know about Rule 34. But I'll be back in a minute, guys. Give me a sec. Like, yeah, I'll tell you. You know, since I'm being a little bit real with you guys right now. I lost my dad about 3 years ago now. And it's never been, like, I just feel like a part of me is missing. Like, I'm still me. I'm still, like, doing my thing. I'm still being wacky, goofy, into, into my friends and making pervy jokes. But ever since Dad died, I just kind of, the first few years, it wasn't really easy for me. And then some other stuff happened, and I was kind of like really, really like fucking up. In a broader sense, I didn't really know who I was anymore, man. Like I made peace with a lot of the shit that happened. There's a lot of shit I ain't gonna tell you guys, but I made peace with that shit, and you know I'm better for it. But you know, doesn't mean I don't miss my dad. You know, and because of my what was going on, I would say that's the reason me and a friend fell out. But I feel like there was more factors there. I used to think it was just because I lashed out, but I really think there was a lot of things. Looking back on it all, there was a lot of things that kind of just showed that me and him were, me and my ex friend were not really that compatible to begin with. And and that's okay. Sometimes people leave and you move on. I was trying to tell another friend of mine who has done immeasurable damage to the people I know, and I was just trying to tell and I told him like even if if you do have to cut a friend out of your life, you just got to try. I feel like if you want to cut anybody out of your life, you should. Like if they're dickish to you, they use you, or in my case, they just kind of use you as a punching bag. You gotta just bounce from them. You gotta say, I give up and just bounce. Sometimes that's the best way to do things. Even though the ex friend of mine will never see it like that. Yeah, I said I gave up because literally it was using me as a punching bag through it, and I was just done. I was like, fuck it. Then that person accused me of like doing something fucking horrible, which that didn't even happen. Me and my friends were mourning somebody, and like this dude was like, "No, you must confess," and I was like, "Bro, I'm out here mourning somebody. What the fuck?" I was quiet about this because like I didn't want this person to think like I wanted to start something up, but it's like, he ain't gonna care, and if he does and makes a video, I'm gonna be like, yeah, yeah. No one was planning anything on you, you paranoid fuck. I mean, I did say sorry for all the stuff I did do, but like, legit, this man was literally paranoid, thinking my friends were about to like do the most unthinkable shit, and I'm just like, yeah, like you split, you break, you know, your friendship breaks. You say you quit, and this person's just out here talking to your other friends, going like, Bugsy's out here doing things when you really aren't doing anything. And then wanting you to confess about a bunch of shit. But I'm getting off topic. But it's like, at the end of the day, I say just talk about the stuff you want to talk about. Enjoy the things you want to talk about. And even if people don't think that this YouTube thing or wherever you're posting your videos now are not worth it, or you should work on something else. If you're passionate about this, fucking keep going, man. I say have a day job in hand, and just in case if you need some funds, you know, don't be like these grifters that are out here just like literally farming hate for money. Like, have a day job. You know? Do something to get you some income so you can buy some things that you need. Because the thing about these freaking grifters, man, like, one day the hatred and all the shit that they target other like entertainment companies for, or people or whatever, is gonna stop. And then like, what are they gonna have? They're gonna have nothing. They're just gonna be on YouTube hating on everything, like, oh, this world is too soft and stuff. And it's like, no, just people ain't trying to hate like y'all, or try to use the hate. Because at the end of the day, like, who are y'all to try and farm hate from stuff you don't even like? Like, there's so many people like trying to be Nintendo grifters when they don't even play Nintendo. But Bugsy, didn't you say it's okay to be outraged? You know, it's okay to talk about what you like. Yeah, but that implies that these people actually are passionate about it. But grifters, they're not. They only care about farming reaction, views, and comments from you because they know that they can like get away with it. They're not passionate about it. They're the opposite of passionate. They know that you guys are watching, and if they label it a certain way, it will elicit some sort of reaction out of you. They know that if they fucking label it a certain way, or do this and say Disney's doing this. But I really feel like the whole anti-woke thing is just another way of just like making people more depressed, because it comes from a place of nostalgia, wanting the world to be what it was when you were a kid. But the thing is about that is, when you were a kid, you didn't have to worry about much. You worried about school. You worried about school, probably how you looked. You worried about all that, but you never had to like. But you never like really thought about the world, politics. You know, even though certain schools were trying to make you actually care about, you know, politics, even though like literally you couldn't vote. You literally couldn't vote. But that's like the thing. that's like, god dang it, I totally forgot my train of thought. Like, the world, the world was different when you were a kid because you didn't have to think about everything. You didn't have to think about rent. You didn't have to think about money. You didn't have to. Well, I mean, you may have thought about money a little bit, but not like a whole lot. Never had to worry about taxes. And I think it's just those people. I think it's just the people that are really feeling like, the world sucks because now I have more responsibilities and I didn't have this and this was the world that was promised to me. Blah 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 blah. But it's like at the end of the day, the world's different because of a lot of factors. But you want nostalgia because you wish you were back to that time where things made sense to you, where you didn't have to worry about too much. You know, and like the grifters, they prey on that shit. These political grifters, these political anti-woke motherfuckers, they do that in spades. They bank on the fact that you feel that way. Got one of my other ex friends in like into that whole bind, and it's stupid. I just me and my friend Nick, we see this person through our feed sometimes on Twitter, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing? I just shake my head. Go about my business. Because that person, who we will call Cram, it's not really important in my life. Because I got my friends. I got Nit. I got my friend Dubs. Got my friend Paula. Got all these people. Cram was important to me at one point, but after a while, he became less and less when he started to listen to the wrong crowd, and that was sad because I never wanted our friendship to really end, but just like the other one I didn't name. Shit happens. People fall to the, people fall apart and people fall to the wayside. It's just how things are. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing if you had to split from a friend, but if shit keeps happening, there's no, and you guys can't resolve it. There's only one way. You just gotta cut people out. But me. See, this right here is what I'm passionate about. And a lot of people used to tell me, "Oh, this ain't really viable for you. Get a desk job." But I'm still here doing my thing. I'm in a place where I don't have to worry about various things. And I'm happy. Like, seriously, I'm legit happy, even though everything in the world is kind of fucked right now. I'm still legit happy making videos and making you guys smile because that's what I love doing. And I feel like at the end of the day, isn't that what really matters? That I'm actually, being productive and enjoying myself and basically putting everything I love in these videos. Because that's what matters to me. And if you're making videos talking about a certain thing, because the one thing that brought all this on was this guy talking about, like, I know I shouldn't be talking about Pillar Chase and Pillar Chase 2 because it's a problem on Roblox and everything else in the world is, and when there's more stuff going on in the world. I'm just saying, man, if you, like, to that person, I want to just say, if you feel passionate about something that you feel mad about, talk about it. Talk about it, man. But, don't be an asshole. Just be respectful and just talk about how you feel. Like, put your feelings down. But don't try to put anybody else down because you're feeling like that. That's That's my fucking advice to every last single one of you. Just talk about how you feel. Talk about a certain topic. But do not try to put down others while you're talking about that topic. Unless that person did some fuck shit. And you got something to say about that. I say never go after a person's appearance because, you know, sometimes you can't really control your appearance. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But I just say don't go after a person's appearance when you're talking about them. That's low hanging fruit. Go after what they do. Go after what they did in a certain situation rather than what they look like. That's pretty much all I can say. Just remember, not everything on YouTube is one-to-one, and just because you see one motherfucker doing like this one thing doesn't mean you have to do it. Everybody want to copy. I remember years ago, everybody wanted to copy Jay's station, and you know, look at that man. Look at that dude. Dude's a motherfucker. Everybody wanted to copy the Paul brothers, and that didn't work out for a lot of people. Like, it's cool to be inspired, but when you're copying people word for word, bar for bar, it's just you shouldn't want to do that. You should want to do your own thing. Or if you gotta know if you're doing something that's kind of been done before, put your own twist to it. Do what you enjoy and never let. Do what you enjoy. Talk about what you're passionate about. And never, ever, ever, ever let anybody tell you different. But if you got bills to pay, like, literally get that day job. I'm being honest. Like, don't e-beg, man. Get that fucking day job. Get what you can. Even if it's like a small little job here and there, get what you can, man. That's what I'm saying. Me, I got some other stuff to do. Got some more videos on the channel I need to go do. And I'm going back to doing videos on the website, so yeah. Not safe for work. Bugsy videos are back on the table. Peace, everybody.